my goodness, went for a crazy air reverser. Just a, what? Two? I didn't even see the second one there as well. So to have done two of those in the most critical part of the wave out the back.
There's a lot to break down. Obviously, a real springboard for Italo to the top of the rankings now. Amazing. He's going to be in the yellow jersey for the first time since last season. He had a magic start to the 2025 season. He kind of did well to keep himself in contention for a world title at the end of the season. But, yeah, that was an important move for him, a big heat win, a big final win.
I really feel like it just speaks to that this year's going to look so much different to what we've seen over the last few years. Now that the cut is gone, we have a full season. The rankings have changed, other than Gabby keeping it for two events, every single stop. So I just feel like now that Italo's at the top of the rankings, he mentioned it's a long journey. We're probably going to see it change a couple more times, but what a day, what a moment for not just surfing, but New Zealand as well. How cool to finish an incredible event here for the first time ever.
Yeah, it was amazing stuff. And Italo made a huge jump to the number one position. Morgan made an important jump. 3/17 through the first three events, Rich, and a second place finish. It's going to see him make a huge climb. But let's have a look at the numbers for the final. They were so impressive. As we see the bracket here, Morgan Siblick put up solid scores. In fact, both the runner-ups today put up nines, and it is huge. Just Italo too strong with those big airs.
Yeah, that's how you want the finals to go, whether it's the men or the women. You want both competitors to really put in their best performance and put their best foot forward, and that's exactly what happened. And unfortunately for Morgan, he just got outsurfed today. Italo was on fire. He was on another level, just all that innovation and flair. We knew on the forehand he was going to bring it all. And he's one of the most high-flying surfers we have on the tour, one of the most energetic surfers that we have on the tour. And he's obviously been kind of working with Leandro as well, just to kind of tidy up that power in that rail game, which we saw through the week, which I actually really, really enjoyed, because it sort of settled him a little bit. And the surfing is actually improving. It's gone to another level. So really cool. Back in the yellow jersey. Interesting that the three Brazilians have changed hands with the yellow jersey on the men's side this year.
Yeah, tough road too. Came through Miguel Pupo, who looked great on the forehand as well. Won the first event of the season. Then came up against Iago Dora, who obviously has been the form surfer here at stop number 4. But Morgan Siblick, he just came to play today. Big numbers in his semi-final heat to get the jumper on Griffin, and also dropped big scores on Italo early in the final.
He even said in his speech just then, it's hard to come up against Italo when he's in that form and he's doing 3 airs on one wave multiple times in a heat as well. So Morgs surfs so incredibly well, and I love that see that Morgs is back in this form as well. But Italo, there was one wave in particular in the final that was just mind-blowing. 2 big airs right at the start of the wave, and that was one of the many times he went excellent, and then would come through this inside and throw the fins as the rocks were starting to show its head too. So it's pretty cool that Italo is give it all no matter what.
Yeah, just so creative, isn't he? And like you said, willing to put it on the line on those opening manoeuvres, and it's that degree of difficulty and that commitment to it at the start of the ride that the judges, they dine out on it. They absolutely love it. You know, this is modern day pro surfing, and it requires a modern approach, and that's exactly what Italo did today. The most complete surfer in the world, and will get the world title, is the one that can do everything. And it feels like that Italo's really sinking into that mode.
Yeah, he did a lot of rotations. There was a lot of fin release there, but you're right, there was variety in the way he approached those sections, and you kind of needed it here, because as this wave bends into Manu Bay, it does have different sections. So I just think he had those moves, and even though Morgan, powered his way to an 8.8 in the final, if someone's throwing it all on the line in those bigger first sections on the outside, the way Italo did, it's going to be hard if you're not taken to the air.
Oh, absolutely. And Morgs, he needed one last wave. It was actually less than his highest score was what he ended up requiring. And a wave came through at the dying stages and it just fizzled out underneath him. So the ocean, I felt like, had a hand in that last dying stages to that heat as well. But Italo just kept getting better every single air he went for. There was one he went for right at the end. It was the highest one. So even with a 9 and an 8, he was still looking to progress and get better. So Italo, a really deserving winner.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was on edge power surfing on the backhand from Morgan, and he knew he had to push it. But like you said, just didn't get that quality wave, that buzzer beater moment that he found in the quarterfinals earlier on. Let's have a look at Carissa Moore's incredible run to her 29th championship tour victory. Can you believe it? She is trying to maintain pace with Stephanie Gilmore, the most winning surfer on the CT. But there is no easy heat. But, you know, Carissa, she had a really difficult draw. Caroline Marks, you'd think on these long-running lefts would be a really tough opponent to overcome. But it has to be said, you know, Joe mentioned it, the ocean was loving on Carissa Moore here. She probably had the cleanest condition across the entire event than any other surfer on the men's and women's side.
Every single time she paddled out, the wind went offshore and the swell picked up. Like, without a doubt, every single heat. And Carissa just had this undeniable connection with the ocean here. I mean, and just where she was placing her turns, it was more critical than what we were seeing as well. But the fact that she has to learn to compete and come in and switch off and be mum, it is a whole different other ballpark here.
Is Elena the most switched on baby ever at a competition site? She knew when to clap. She knew when to throw the high fives out. She knew her mum was on an absolute heater through this draw. The way she was squaring up, Rich, was always going to be hard for any other competitor in the draw to match. She just seemed to have a lot more power and was laying down the biggest turns of the comp.
Yeah, and her turns, when she was doing them, they had so much impact and force, displacing a ton of water every single time. The positioning of the manoeuvres more so as well. Just done in the most accurate part of the wave and executed with precision again. And she just found wave after wave. I mean, in the semi-final, she had like 3 nines. So it was incredible stuff.
You know, sometimes you get to a championship tour event, you grind your way through heats in tricky conditions. This has been a surf trip for Carissa Moore to Manu Bay. She absolutely loved her time in that lineup. She had a number of excellent rides. She had the highest scoring heats of the event, and this is such a special moment. Getting chaired to the podium with her baby in her arms, and like she said, you know, she's here to inspire mothers all over the world, and she's certainly done that. And yeah, there's a lot of tears on stage and in the booth as well.
Yeah, we were hopeless. We were trying to hold it together as well. It's special stuff, but you got to give credit to Sawyer Lindblad. That total heat for the final, that was huge. That probably would have wiped out majority of other heat totals through the entire event. So she really stood up in the final, but Carissa was just too good, and what a way to win.
Yeah, Sawyer's closing in on that main victory for sure. The way she performed in these last 3 events has her right up there at the top end of the rankings. Let's have a look at them now, because there was obviously a huge leap for Carissa. As we see there, climbing up into the top 10. She'd had a tough run at this season. But yeah, it is super impressive. Sawyer, she just continues to make her way up the ladder.
Yeah, sitting there in number 5th position. Great stuff. And Gabby, Bryan, Luana and Molly still in that top 3, just holding position there. But, you know, we're going to see things move around a bit when everything else gets adjusted, I believe.
Yeah, we sure are. Yeah, it is going to be so interesting to see the surfers back on a right-hander over there in El Salvador as well, because this event has, I think, definitely given us a refreshing look at who's got form on the backhand, who's got the forehand for the goofy footers to match the backhand attack as well.
And even a couple of big names that went down early. I mean, Erin Brooks was such a front runner for this event, and she had so many shades of greatness. And I feel like she's started to get frustrated with a couple results now, and I feel like Erin actually surfs really well when she's frustrated. So going into El Salvador, she's back on her back end, which we know is really good form, and I feel like that's going to be a great event for her. She's got some room to climb as well. Similar on the women's side, we're going to see these rankings change so much this year, so a lot of back and forth between that yellow jersey already on the women's side too.
Yeah, it's been trading places on the men's side as well. Let's bring up the men's ranking now. After stop number 4, Italo has jumped into that number 1 position, but look how compressed those points tallies are at the top end of the tour.
Yeah, the numbers are super tight, aren't they? So Italo, he wrestled the yellow jersey back off Gabriel Medina. Miguel Pupo holding strong. He's had that win there at Bells. And Gabriel in number 3. Don't worry about that. He's going to pounce again. No doubt about it. Yago, what an amazing top 5. George Pitter hanging on to that 5th position with that win over at Margaret River, and Ethan Ewing as well with another win. So, mate, we have got an incredible world title battle heating up already, and we're only 4 events in. Yeah,
what's interesting on the men's side is you've got a few surfers who've ascended ahead of competitors that have won events this year. So the consistency there is there for Yago. It's there for Gabriel Medina. And if they break through and get a victory, they're going to be hard to stop.
Even Felipe Toledo sitting down in 10th. Sammy Pupo has been incredible this year. I know he didn't have a good result here, but now that we're going back to a right-hander, I just see guys like him doing that as well and being so consistent this year, and adding new names into that world title race is really fun as well. I'm sure George Pitar is shocked that he's in a world title race this early into the season. So very Brazilian heavy, that top 10, but they've just been so outstanding so far this season.
They bring it. They bring the big performances when it matters, and they have those huge clutch moments as well on the men's side.